Hello everybody and welcome to a new video. So today I'm really excited because I'm going to announce a new series in this channel, and it's definitely been a long time coming. This series is going to be dedicated to the legendary Queen. My favorite band ever. So much in fact that they are the sole reason why I ever picked up an instrument. Back when I was 12, I started listening to Queen and I wanted to sing like Freddie Mercury. But soon after that, I realized I wasn't going to be able to. So I decided to try the next best thing, and that was to try to play the guitar like Brian May. Of course, I was never able to do that either, but it was my starting point in the music career. But before we get to the details, make sure you smash the like button, you drop me a comment in the comment section down below, and you subscribe to this channel like a man if you haven't yet. Okay, so let's talk about Queen a little bit. This amazing band was actually formed in 1970, and it was basically Brian May on guitar, Roger Taylor on drums, just like in Smile, but they added Freddie Mercury to the mix. Now, if you've seen the movie, it is portrayed as Freddie Mercury meeting the guys from the band right after a show and just belting out some notes, leaving Brian May and Roger Taylor in awe. But that was actually not true at all. In fact, Freddie Mercury and Roger Taylor actually shared an apartment and co-owned a second-hand clothing store. So yeah, Freddie actually knew the guys before he knew the band. And then, of course, John Deacon, the most introverted member of this band, but also the one that wrote the most hits. See, one of the best things about Queen is that you actually had 4 different people with 4 very different personalities writing for the same band, and they all contributed big time. You had Freddie Mercury with more of a classical and pompous, very theatrical approach, and very piano-oriented. Then you had Brian May, of course, with guitar-driven riffs, and more with a hard rock, heavy metal approach. Then you had John Deacon on bass, with more of a funk, maybe soul, poppy vibe. And then you had Roger Taylor, the drummer, with more of a classic rock approach. Simple, straight to the point, chord progressions, and maybe even a little punk flair. Okay, so from 1970, when the band first formed, all the way to 1991, they managed to put out 14 albums in 21 years. That is more than one album every 2 years on average. And the last album they put out was Made in Heaven, which was actually after the death of Freddie Mercury in 1991. Even though most of it was recorded, they decided not to put it out for a while. I will definitely talk about Queen, Queen 2, So Heart Attack, Night at the Opera, A Day at the Races, News of the World, Jazz, The Game, Flash Gordon, Hot Space, The Works, A Kind of Magic, The Miracle, Innuendo, and Made in Heaven. 15 amazing albums. Of course, not without its ups and downs, but some amazing high points. And of course, I can't talk about Queen and leave out their legendary live performances. A lot of people rave about their Live Aid performance in 1985, and though it was a great performance, it was far from being the best. So yeah, I am really happy because I started a poll on my Instagram about 2 hours ago, and I already got 95 people saying that they'd be interested in seeing videos about Queen. So the idea is for me to share all the knowledge I've acquired about Queen in the last 20 years. That includes their whole official discography, with Freddie Mercury only, all of their 15 studio records, plus 9 live albums. I will also include Brian May's and Roger Taylor's previous band. I will also talk about their solo projects, being The Cross or Freddie Mercury or Brian May solo, but only their official solo releases. I will not include collaborations, because that would be a lot. And I think it's fair for us to start out with Greatest Hits 1 and Greatest Hits 2, because that is how I first got into Queen. I will also talk extensively about the Red Special, which is Brian May's guitar, which is crucial to the Queen sound. We'll talk about the Vox AC30, the pedals Brian May used, and how the sound actually evolved from the first album to the last. So again, the idea is, at least in the beginning, to do a full review on each of their albums. Lyrics, sound, what key the songs are in, who wrote the song, how many tempo changes, and so on. Very in-depth. I'm also going to talk about the high points and the low points of every album, a little bit of back history on the songs and the albums themselves. And since I own every one of the Queen albums on CD and some of them on vinyl, I'm actually going to show you the booklets as well, so that you can see what you're missing out on by not owning the stuff. And hopefully inspire you to listen to more Queen, get past the greatest hits, and get into the deep cuts of this amazing band. I am also going to list all of the singles from every album as we go on and the chart position when they got released. Now in this day and age, most of you don't know what a single is. In fact, I had to ask my parents what a single was. And of course, after many years of studying the music business, I am very familiar with what an EP is, what a single is, what an LP is, and so on. So let me explain it to you real quick. You know how when a band is getting ready to release an album, they usually upload a song with a music video onto YouTube before it comes out? That's basically what a single was back in the vinyl days. They would actually release that one song and get it some radio time so you could get a little taste of the album before it came out. And a lot of people wouldn't necessarily like the whole album, but maybe they would actually like that one song, so you got the chance to buy the single with 2 songs on them, the A side and the B side. Imagine that. So yeah, I really hope you guys find that interesting, and I really hope that I can actually inspire you to listen to Queen a lot farther. I know that the Bohemian Rhapsody movie actually got the ball rolling, but hopefully I can take it a step further. So yeah, that's some of the ideas for now. If you have any ideas that you think might contribute to the series, make sure you drop me a comment in the comment section down below. I'll appreciate it. Also, while you're at it, make sure you drop me a like. And if you haven't, please subscribe to this channel like a man. Now I really gotta get working. So get ready to learn about Queen. Pat out. See you next time.